All right, yo, what's up? Before we dive into the video, I got two things I need to tell y'all. Both of them relate to the situation I posted on my community tab. Yes, I got hacked. Everything's should be quote unquote fine now. I got my computer back, so we're gonna get right into it. First thing I want to tell y'all.
舰长，咱们就长不开。你来了多久了？
Okay, Teresa. We are on the CN beta first and foremost. I know I said that I was not going to make a song choice guide, but we have CN beta, or I have CN beta, and I have the testing tools available to me now via the CN beta server instead of the global beta server. So if you guys want to see that song choice guide still, let me know down in the comments below. I am open to making it now since I do have, you know, these tools available to me, and we have song choice bosses still on the CN beta, so I can test that stuff out. Second thing, now that I have my computer back, I can go back to making videos just like this. This one's going to be expedited because it's the new beta, it's the new hotness. I want to be getting this video out, but ZZ videos are coming. I do have a ton of videos that I've already recorded, and also other videos that I do want to record, stuff that I wanted to have out either before or after I came back from Anime Expo, but I couldn't just because of the situation that ended up happening. So just be on the lookout for those, and if you guys are still interested in them, let me know down in the comments below as well. But with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Hello, it's your boy Jayniro. If you guys know me from EO's video, yes, I am the Honkai guy, but we are here with the new Teresa beta, CN beta version 7.7, I believe this is. This is version 7.7 with the new Teresa. Yeah, I've been playing with her a little bit on stream as well as a little bit off stream. So we're gonna get straight into this. Thank you, Mimitsu, for telling me about the beta stage here that I now have access to. I can figure this stuff out, or I can actually come in here and test her out and whatnot. But we're gonna get straight into this. We have a new Teresa here. Let me just do this really quick. We have new Teresa. So Teresa is the newest Valkyrie coming with 7.7. She's a quantum astral ring character. She's an astral ring character from the astral ring specialization world star. So like, you know, Senadina and Helia, she's going to deal heavily with the resonance marks and resonance attacks, different abilities. But she's honestly a very interesting character. I've been messing around with her. A lot of people I've been seeing are like, oh, she's a skip character. Oh, she should have been an A rank character. I think people just aren't seeing just how good this Teresa is. She's actually like really good for World Star. She's got, you know, different attacks. She is wielding a chain blade, so she's like Thelema, using this archetype instead of using a cross. I think we're not going to be seeing those old weapons anymore, just because, you know, they're like part 1 weapons, and so now we're seeing the part 2 weapons come through with the Astral Ring mechanics. So Teresa is now going to be a chain blade user, at least for Astral Ring is concerned. We may or may not see other characters be using some of the old weapons. They may adapt them to Astral Ring. We don't know. But this is her basic attack. Okay, she's got a 3-sequence basic attack. It's pretty nifty. She has her weapon active as well, which basically throws a giant like baseball. She throws her puppet at the enemy, which is pretty cool. And that charges up 2 of her meter down here. So when you get full meter, you can just do that, and you hold charge attack and you can activate that meter, and you just go lay in for the basic attacks, right? Initially it's going to be a little bit different, but if we do this, right, and then I hold charge attack here, it puts me up in the air and I can continue mashing in the air, and she goes twirly with the racket. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And you can also activate it early by, you know, just holding charge attack, and she does the slam like we did in the first time, the first attempt. All right, next up we're going to be doing her ultimate. She goes sleepy mode. You can swap off field while you have this active, and after about like 5 seconds you can reactivate it, either by still being on her or by swapping back to her. It'll auto activate this, and we'll see it auto activate in just a little bit, just a short second, like that, and you get a pretty nice sizable amount of damage. Now the ultimate itself does not cause quantum collapse. What causes quantum collapse is actually that second ultimate that we saw activate. So if I do it here, right, if I do it here one more time, we're going to see it doesn't cause quantum collapse. What actually ends up causing quantum collapse is when I do the follow-up ultimate where she wakes up. And we see now that quantum collapse, that quantum shield meter is gone because we have actually activated quantum collapse. In addition, now we activate, when we activate Astral Ring, that's just her kit outside of Astral Ring. It's pretty bare bones, pretty, you know, straightforward. But we activate Astral Ring, things are a little bit different here. That meter goes up from 4 to 6. She gets a new ultimate, which also activates Quantum Collapse, but it's a different ultimate. It's like a big burst of damage. Not to mention, for only this first charge attack, if we hit this, she then can do a large flurry of attacks for much longer. Not to mention as well, in both forms, she can do weapon active in midair and do like a common rider kick to further damage enemies and deal more damage to enemies, which is pretty nifty. But there's a little bit more nuance as well via the Astral Ring, which I'll talk about in just a second. We're going to add some new characters to the team just to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So here in this team, as you guys can see, I have Senadina and Helia. We're primarily just going to be doing this with World Star. She can also function in Wheel of Destiny, but we'll talk about that in a second. We're primarily focusing on the World Star because she is going to be like a leading damage unit, kind of like Senadina, but a little bit different. So we're rocking with Senadina and Helia because of her functions within the World Star team comp. So the nifty thing that I want to point out is that in her Astral Ring, right, if we activate Astral Ring, the really cool thing is that her puppets actually can consume resonance marks that get put on the field and activate resonance attacks 3 times. So you hear that? The little 3 bursts there. All these resistance attacks are coming from her puppets, which is pretty nifty. So you don't need to have resonance marks on the field and having to trigger them multiple times with also other characters with Senadina. It's a bit of a different playstyle where you can just trigger as much resonance attacks as you want a lot faster with Teresa, because of the fact that her puppets actually consume resonance marks and trigger 3 resonance attacks per puppet per consumption, right? So if you're triggering multiple resonance stacks, if you're activating multiple resonance stacks with your other 2 characters, then Teresa's just going to be, while off field, just proccing so many different resonance attacks, much more so than you would get with your standard part 2 team comp, or rather initial part 2 team comp of Senadina, Helia, and Coralie. So that's primarily why I say that Teresa here is a leading factor, a leading character in these part 2 team comps, because of just what she can do as a character. Not to mention, like I said, you can take her off field, so we use her ultimate here, and you can just go in with all your other characters, and we bring in Helia, and you see over there the icon for Teresa changed a little bit. She has the purple ring around her, which meaning that she can activate her finisher by swapping back on field. Boom, you trigger Quantum Collapse there. And then we go back into this, and then we just go straight in, swap immediately off. Ideally, I would use her ultimate before I swapped off, but that's fine. And all of these are triggering resonance attacks. And that meter as well doesn't necessarily go away as well, which is really, really nice, which means you just need to do that once pretty much during the Astral Ring, and then you can just go in for this next bit, and your rotation pretty much just looks something like that. You know, this is beta. This isn't like everything. This is nothing. None of this is final. You know, everything is subject to change because this is CN beta V1. So nothing is optimal, nothing is set in stone. You know, even these damage values you see of 44 million, 45 million isn't set in stone. But that's not the only bit that's left. I mean, there still is quite a fair bit that's left. You know, like I said, she is the first quantum character in Astral Ring. So what that means is quantum is making a comeback. You know, probably we'll see imaginary make a comeback as well. Right now we're just focused on Stardust, but we now see with Teresa, quantum is making a comeback, as I'll show you. So first and foremost, I want to show you all off here in Abyss. We have new Quantum Parvati, new Quantum Pig. This is a brand new boss specifically for Astral Ring character and for Astral Ring teams. This, even though this is pretty much just quantum damage is boosted, you're pretty much going to be doing this with your Astral Ring characters. I don't think you're going to be doing it as much with your just normal quantum teams, just because they're pretty lacking. The last one we actually got, I mean, outside of Susanna, was Vilvi, and it's just not as good. We also have a new quantum boss stage as well. It functions somewhat similarly to like this boss in the past. This boss isn't new, but essentially what it does is it drops, you know, enemies on the field and you wear down those enemies. It's like a boss mob stage, but then you fight this as an actual boss eventually as well. But it's pretty weak for the most part. It just takes a while because you go through like 3 or 4 waves of mobs, you know, in typical mob boss fashion. I'm gonna show you guys this new Quantum Parvati here really quick. The mechanics are very interesting. So of course, this boss is going to be in Memorial Arena as well, but there are going to be essentially 2 variations of this boss in typical fashion. So first and foremost, this boss is going to pop in here, and you can't attack him. You see how many of those... Look at all those shields up there. Each of these orbs in this DDR style, you're going to kill or go and grab, and they're going to take out the shields. And once you're done with that, then you can get into your fight. I'm just going to go through with this. None of this is set in stone, but your typical boss fight is going to be something around this. There are 2 phases, so just be wary of that. We bring Teresa back. Now I'm actually going to hold on to Astral Ring here, just my Stellar Outburst here, just because we are approaching the phase shift. So we have another intermediate section where you're just dodging a bunch to get him to spawn these Quantum Collapse orbs, which each of them will reduce... I should not have done that. That's okay. Like I said, nothing is set in stone. We're just going to go through this. Wicker back up and go through our Astral Ring, like we said beforehand. Activate Ultimate. Lots of resonance attacks are going to be happening here. Seconds consume, we get 3 resonance attacks, and we also do send in ultimate during burst. Stellar Outburst to trigger multiple here. Same thing for Helia. And we just trigger a lot of attacks here. Like I said, nothing is set in stone. Now, just because I want to see the Teresa finisher, I'm not going to go on to Senadina, because I know there's going to be a lot of damage there, so we're just going to do this and finish off the boss. Like that. Just so you guys can see the Teresa finisher right here. Or windscreen. It looks so good. I love it. But yeah, so none of that, like, those aren't optimal rotations. Just to remind you guys, these aren't optimal rotations. These are just my first impressions, my first feelings of the character, how I'm fighting versus them. We're gonna do the same thing here with Memorial Arena Quantum Pig. It's not gonna be the same thing. We're not gonna get DDR stage. We're basically just gonna go straight into the fight. Oh, well, I got hit out of the air. I didn't realize that. That's okay. Go through with this fight. Oh, I just realized I have Thelema. Yeah, because it's MA, we want to do this. And we're just going to lay in on the enemy, on the boss here. And wait for the phase change. Go into phase 2. Rather intermediate phase and then phase 2. This one's a bit interesting. You get these 3 portals that pop up, and you have to wait for the Quantum Pig come through one of them, and then you just burn it down a little bit here. Each of these triggers a Quantum Collapse, so... Oh, yep. You just gotta wait. And you just dodge an attack and trigger Quantum Collapse. Trigger 4 times, and you're good. And the nice thing is that it's frozen during each of these, but you have to attack the pig in order to initiate the attack in the first place. And then a big final attack there. And then I'm just going to activate Astral Ring here. We'll trigger Quantum Collapse here with ultimate. And just lay in on the enemy. Lots of damage. Thelma's going to come in as per usual. Big burst damage. Not too shabby. And that's going to trigger even more resonance attacks. At least it should have. And then just because I want to, I really want to finish this off with the girl Teresa. Never mind, I guess I won't get to do that. Never mind, we will. Cool. That's okay. That's just a little bit of this new boss as well. Okay, so the last bit I actually want to talk to y'all about is that Teresa here can actually work in a Wheel of Destiny comp as well. Primarily, of course, I'm just going to take Teresa and I'm going to move her over to slot 3. Here in slot 1, the reason why we're going to put Song Shui, and I'll tell you in just a second. We're going to bring Senadina as well. Swap to Sarah Pam. Now, the primary reason why Teresa actually works in a Wheel of Destiny comp is because when she activates the Star Shadow attack, we're just going to go straight into it here with Song Shui. When Teresa activates Shadow Star attack, it actually grants a certain amount of crit rate. I believe it's like 15% crit rate. So that is pretty much the only reason why you're going to be using her here in a Wheel of Destiny comp. Now, I'm not exactly too sure how much else she brings to the Wheel of Destiny team, but that is going to be like her main ordeal that she is capable of doing within a Wheel of Destiny team. It's funny, we got Song Shui with a Wheel of Destiny team, and we're looking primarily at using 2 World Star teams, 2 World Star characters within this team comp. This isn't set in stone, but I just really want to bring that forward of this because just what both of these characters bring to a Wheel of Destiny team. One last thing I also want to mention before, I finish this off is there's a little bit of uniqueness as well with Teresa's weapon. Being a quantum character, right? We're expecting a lot more delving into being able to abuse the collapse system with quantum. One thing that's really cool about Teresa's weapon that is going to be like something that more weapon propaganda as we see in the past with other characters. Teresa's weapon is very, very, very invaluable because not only is it going to be granting, various amounts of elemental damage, lightning damage. I can't read this, but just from what I saw from Google Translate and whatnot, if you have her weapon equipped, she actually gets a quantum shield that protects her from a collapse attack. So like, for example, if we're fighting the pig, and I can show this off in a second, if we're fighting the pig and she gets hit with a collapse attack, she actually will resist the attack and in turn inflict quantum collapse on the enemy, which will remove one of their quantum shields. Just further incentive. So I'll show you that in just a second as well. Follow up gameplay. So I'm going to get hit by this attack and we'll see. I resist it and it inflicts one quantum collapse stack on it. This has a cooldown as well, so we'll see in just a second. Boom. We resisted the attack, and that inflicted complete quantum collapse on this new quantum Parvati. So there's just further incentive to get her weapon as well. Pretty nifty. You get a free quantum collapse, so you can like kind of screw up a bit, or maybe if a boss attacks you in too much succession, so on and so forth, you can just kind of get more free quantum collapse on the enemy. I'm gonna get out of here before I die. But yeah, so this is the new Quantum Teresa. I'll be making, of course, a guide for her when she comes to global beta. Be looking forward to that as well. Again, if you guys do want to see me make a Song Shui guide, let me know down in the comments below. More ZZ videos are coming as well. We got to get through the backlog before, at the time of recording this, they just announced the 1.1 live stream. So I'm going to try to do what I can do to get all the videos out before 1.1 launches. I believe every single video I am working on, they should still prove relevant in terms of ZZ. But if you guys want to see where I test all this stuff, go through gameplay as well, I did test a lot of this stuff on stream over at twitch.tv/Jayniro, my Twitch channel, as well as I do a lot of ZZ gameplay, as well as all the other Hoyo games over on my Twitch channel as well. So be sure to go follow over there as well if you guys want to see more of that stuff, more content from your boy that's not just video form. And yeah, so with all that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video and you guys want to see more from your boy, be sure to drop a like on the video and sub to the channel as well for more content like this. Be happy and fill the world with kindness, everyone, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Jane.